Let me ask you something. What if The Last of Us Part 3 is already happening? And we just haven't been told yet. No announcement, no trailer, nothing official. But then you have Neil Druckmann himself dropping a line like this. It was a thrilling journey, especially for those few stops that still await me on the road ahead. Now, that doesn't sound like nothing to me. That sounds like someone who knows what's coming and is cryptic teasing it as well. So today we're going to break down everything. What's real, what's rumor, what's being stretched, and yeah, whether or not The Last of Us Part 3 is actually closer than people think. What is up, everybody? Jimmy or Chaos, and let's deep dive. The leaks, the rumors, speculation, the real situation behind the scenes at Naughty Dog. Because right now, this is one of those games where everyone knows it's coming, but nobody can actually prove it. Remember, I read every single comment on every single video, so you let me know. Are you ready for Last of Us 3? What are your thoughts on The Last of Us 2? Now, let's start off with the fact there's no official announcement for Part 3. Sony hasn't said anything. Naughty Dog hasn't said anything. No teasers, no title cards, no confirmation. Even Neil Druckmann himself has been walking on eggshells and been super careful. Every time he's asked about it, he basically says, we'd only do it if there was a story worth telling. Okay. Okay, Neil, that's consistent. On paper, there is no Part 3. But we can go back to the quote that I talked about a minute ago. Those few stops that still await me on the road ahead. That's not random talk. That's not someone saying, hey, we're done. That's Neil hinting there's more. And look, I mean, do we weigh that as confirmation? No. But it's a tease. Because Druckmann doesn't just throw lines out like that for no reason, especially with this franchise. So let's get into one of the bigger pieces of evidence that people keep pointing to. There was a court document in 2025 that mentioned an untitled Last of Us sequel. Now, here's the important part. That was not Naughty Dog announcing anything. That was part of a legal court filing. So what does that actually mean? Well, it suggests something existed internally, but it doesn't mean it's active. It doesn't mean it's finished. It doesn't even mean it's happening. It was a clue. There was no confirmation, but people did get excited about it. And then we just got the interview about The Last of Us multiplayer and what all turmoil that went through. So there's a lot of mixed opinions on The Last of Us franchise right now. And I think this is actually where people get confused too, because Naughty Dog, they've been busy. Just not on what people expected them to be busy yet. I mean, they had the multiplayer project, which got canceled. Like I said, if you want to watch that interview, it's really sad. Got the HBO show involvement, and now a brand new IP that is in development. So the question is, where does Last of Us Part 3 fit into it? And the answer is probably after the next project, which means that if it's happening, it's still a long ways off. Now, this part matters more than people realize. The success of the HBO series, The Last of Us, it absolutely changed everything. And I know a lot of you are going to see this, and a lot of you are online like I am, and you're going to be like, yeah, the success of meme culture. No, the success of the entire series. Whether you liked it, whether you didn't, whether you agreed with the casting, whether you agreed with how they did the story beats and how everything happened with Joel, it was a success. It was. Now, The Last of Us is bigger than just a game. It is a full-on franchise, and when that actually happens, well, sequels are more likely, or the trilogy ending is more likely. Not because they have to happen, it's because the demand is massive, and the demand equals dollar amounts, and these big publishing studios and developing studios normally are controlled by shareholders who want more money. So yeah. Now, what do you care about? You don't care about the money. You care about getting a quality story. You care about getting the culmination and the ending of a trilogy of something that we started off with the original Last of Us that impacted a lot of us as gamers. It was a hell of a story. I mean, that's it. You care about the story. Because part 2, well, it ended in a very specific place. I mean, Ellie's alone, Abby and Lev are gone, the world is broken, of course, so what actually happens next? And I'm going to give you guys my professional opinion here. I mean, Ellie's final arc, right? I think part 3 becomes Ellie finding purpose again. That whole redemption, closure, identity arc, maybe less revenge this time and more meaning, more fulfillment. I don't know. We definitely need a bow wrapped up on Ellie's story. We do. But then you also have an option where it could get interesting, or it could be parallel, simultaneously going on. Abby and Lev, right? The Fireflies are rebuilding a new faction, maybe even the hope for the cure. And that would also open up the world a ton. And I know the fans are split and divisive on Ellie and Abby. I get it. We're not here to debate the storylines on that level. We're just trying to figure out what's next. I mean, they could do something out of left field. They could blow our minds. They could do all new characters. They could do a completely new cast. Same world, different story. I mean, it could happen, right? But then again, I think most everybody wants Ellie. I really, really do. So I don't think that's really even an option. I think what's more likely going to happen is we're going to get parallel stories with Abby and Ellie once again. But then again, if you look at that, that's risky because of what happened with The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know. I mean, let's talk about some of the rumors that are floating around. There's lots of talks about new factions, cult-like enemies happening, even early outlines involving Ellie tracking something or someone. But again, we don't have any confirmations. It's all really, really early stage speculation from leakers and from insiders, and there's not a lot to grasp onto here. So if part 3 happens, when it happens, come on, we know it's going to happen. I think this is where they're actually going to evolve it. My guess is we're probably going to be looking at bigger areas. Not fully open world, but definitely larger zones. We're going to have smarter AI factions involved. We'll probably have deeper stealth systems. And of course, it's Last of Us, so you can expect more survival mechanics. So think Last of Us Part 2, not necessarily reinvented, but more expanded upon. And I know the story is going to carry it or the story is going to bury it. I just made that up. That's actually pretty cool. But yeah, that's what you can expect. And actually, it gets kind of interesting because realistically, this is not a PS5 only game. If part 3 is happening, this is probably going to be targeting next-gen hardware. So the PS6 era, bigger scale, more complex system. And that tells you the development timeline. I mean, we already know AAA titles, they take 3 to 5 years at a minimum. This is as AAA as it gets. So, I mean, let's be real with each other. If this game exists, which we all like to think it does, I mean, when's it coming? Not anytime soon. I'm going to give best case scenario here. I think best case scenario is 2029. I mean, with how long games take, if it's already been storyboarded, it's in pre-production, it's in early production, they're keeping a massive lid on it, 2029 would be the earliest. That is the absolute earliest. It could push into 2030s for sure. Now, 2029 is an optimistic guess for me. You guys can let me know what you think as well. And it's not just another game. I mean, the Last of Us franchise is one of the most respected narratives in gaming. So making part 3, it really has to justify itself. You can't make it just to make it. You really can't. There has to be some character arcs closed in this. We have to get less levity at the end and more closure, because a lot of us have been along for the ride for over a decade now. I mean, if you don't do it right, it's going to hurt the legacy, and Druckmann knows that. He fully knows that. He said it before. So here's where everything stands. There's no official announcement for Last of Us 3. The strong hints and cryptic talks from Druckmann, they're not random. They're not, I promise. We've got internal leaks suggesting development existed or does exist and is happening, and then Naughty Dog clearly is planning for the long term. So, are you going to get Last of Us 3? Yes, I think you are. Is it confirmed? No. Is it close? No, I don't think it's close at all. So you guys let me know what you think. I'll keep you posted if anything new breaks. And again, in the comment section, I read every single comment on every single video. Tell me your true opinion. Be constructive, be critical, but be nice of The Last of Us Part 2. The story, the game, what was your experience? I've actually never played through the whole thing. I may actually do it over on my Chaos Let's Play channel just to see what everybody's talking about.